who did a 360 on you, and you were managing a company, and they said, Mohnish, stop managing this company, and you would work best in a team size of one. Is that
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so I'm part of a group called YPO, Young Presidents Organization, which I think is one of the best non-profit groups out there. It was set up to make business leaders better, better leaders, better husbands, better fathers or mothers and such. And so it's been a great book, great group to be part of. And so I've been at YPO, I think now for about almost 18 years. In fact, I just left because now I'm too old. And so it was a great 18 years. And as part of YPO, we get set up in forums, which are groups of 8 to 10 individuals who are in non-competing businesses. And the forums meet once a month in a very confidential setting for about 4 hours. And then once a year we go on retreat, where we go into deeper dives, where we'll explore longer-term goals, personal growth and development and so on. So one of the individuals in the group suggested that we have these industrial psychologists do a deep dive on us. And so there were these two individuals, and they had a company called Conquest. And I thought, I was intrigued by the name. So they said that they named it after Genghis Khan. And they said, people think that Genghis Khan was a tyrant. But they said that Genghis Khan was extremely effective at getting to his objectives. And so they said that in effect, each of us is wired a certain way on the inside. So let's say, for example, if this is your inner map, what happens is that the world expects us to act a certain way. And so in many ways, we try to please the world. And so we will have an outer map in many times which is misaligned from the inner map. And that inner map, according to these Conquest guys, was between your genetics and the first 5 years of your life experience is hard-coded. That inner map is not going to change. Things that you like or dislike, those are like very core parts of your psychology and your makeup. And so their perspective was that there's no point for Genghis Khan to try to be like Gandhi, because he'd be completely ineffective at it. Because at the core, he's a tyrant. And so they said, if you're a tyrant on the inside, be a tyrant on the outside, because that's the best thing for the tyrant. It may not be best for the rest of humanity, but they were focused on the individual. So their take was that each of us is born without an owner's manual. And what they told us that they would do for us at that retreat is at the end of the retreat, we would basically have an owner's manual. And I got a 20-page document, which I actually read every year now, reread it. And so what they did was they did 360 interviews. So they talked to all our spouses. If the kids were old enough, they talked to the kids. If you had employees, they talked to employees, your friends, just a full 360. People, if you were reporting to someone, they talked to your boss. If you had people reporting to you, they talked to people under you. And then they had us to do a bunch of tests. And based on all of that, they got a map of who they thought we were. And then they sat down with us individually, not individually, but in a group setting over 3 days at this retreat, and went through the findings, went through the owner's manual for each of us. And with me at the time, I was running this company with 170 people, with these PeopleSoft consultants and all of that. And they said, we don't even know how you do that because this is not you. So what they said is, with me, they said that something that are very core to my psyche is I like to play games. But I like to play certain types of games. So I like to play games where the outcome depends on my performance. It doesn't depend on a team. So I wouldn't be a good guy on a soccer team, for example. So they said that you like to play games where the outcome is heavily dependent on you. And you like to play games where you think with whatever you have to bring to bear to the game, you have a likelihood of winning. And when you pair yourself, they said, with this game where it seems to match up with the type of things you like to do, then you'll kill it. So they said, you need to focus on driving that, feeding that. And this was just about 2-3 months before Pabrai Funds was launched, and I had the idea for it. So I was explaining to them what I was trying to do about it. And they said, yes, Pabrai Fund's perfect. That's what you should need to do. And they looked at my other company. They said, as quickly as possible. Sell it, find a CEO, whatever you can do, exit. And I did that. And actually, like for example, I love to play bridge. I spend 5 or 6 hours a week playing bridge, and I look forward to it. Like Saturday and Sunday, I played about 5 hours of bridge. It was incredible. I loved it. Probably love it as much or more than equity research. And you can see that there's no reward by playing bridge, but there is a reward for me.